Well, good morning, Cam.
Good morning, Mitch. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. It is Saturday morning. What is it? The 2nd of December.
Yes.
So I
But all the snow has melted, Mitch. Come on.
Most of it. I think we've got a little bit left here yet.
All of ours is gone. We got like 3 inches. And then I got super cold, like wind chill of 1 degree as I was dropping my kid off at school this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then it skyrocketed to like 49. And it all just melted away. It's very sad.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so much prettier when there's snow on the ground.
I agree.
But anyways, happy not yet winter to you, Mitch.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you that it's pretty when the snow's on the ground. It's not pretty when it's falling. Well, it can be pretty when it's falling, but not when I'm driving. So, I haven't had to do that yet. Well, I suppose, I mean, you could call it, I mean, last Sunday on the way to church, just driving across town it was snowing, but I can handle that. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But so I do have a story to tell you. That has happened since the last time we recorded. My car, I had it in the shop in February-ish to get an oil change, and when they checked it, the tires were, well, they give you the color code, so it's like green if it's good, yellow if it's you should be thinking about getting new tires, and red if you're like, man, you need the tires like yesterday. So in February, they marked my tires as yellow. They said, the tread is getting down there. We need to be thinking about getting them replaced. So sometime between now and the next oil change, let's get some estimates done and figure it out. So because my car uses synthetic, I only need to do it like every 6 months. So 6 months later, it was August, end of August, early September. I went in for an oil change. And the guy tells me, "Oh yeah, well your tires are green. They're looking great." I looked at him. I was like, "How did my tires get better from the last time I was here?" I says that doesn't work that way. And he's like, "Well, he's like, well, look at the tires." And he was showing me, and he's like, look, how deep your grooves are. He's like, you're all good. You got nothing to worry about. So fast forward to Sunday, right after we recorded. So that would have been the 19th, maybe something like that. It was in that range. It would have probably been the day that I posted the last episode. So I'm walking into church, just get out of the car, ready to walk into the church, and I look down and I see a little glinting on the tires, on the one tire. And so I get a little closer. I'm thinking, well, maybe there's a little water on the tire. It's just reflecting. No, the steel belt was showing through the edge of my tire. So I'm like, okay, this is not good.
So one of your tires is way worse than the rest.
Well, what it was, I'll get to what it actually was. But so I told my wife, I was like, I can't drive this car. At least I can't drive it to work because that's 70 miles an hour on the interstate. For 14 miles. So yeah. With my luck, it'll be 7 miles into my drive and the tire will blow and I'll be careening off the road and it'll be a lot of fun for everybody else. But so I looked at her and says, I'm not driving the car. We've got to get these tires replaced. I just had them all replaced, because it's a 4-wheel drive vehicle, so that's the rule. And so I called the service center the next morning, told them the story, and then I went in, and one of the guys that I work with a lot at this dealership, I don't know if he knows who I am or knows me, but I know that I deal with him a lot, and he probably recognizes me at least. But I pulled him aside and I told him the story directly, and I said, "This is what happened," and I'm a little upset about the fact that the last time I was in here, they're telling me my tires are just fine. I said, I understand mistakes happen, but this is a mistake that could have killed me. And I was like, so it's something that like I have to be able to trust the guys that I bring my car to. I said, so I mean, what can we do? What can we do here? And the service center already had the tires on order, so that wasn't an issue. And he looked at me, he's like, dude, I will get you in as soon as I can. So Tuesday, the tires were supposed to come in middle of the day. And he says, once I get the tires, if I have to go into the shop, because he doesn't do work in the shop normally, he's like, if I have to go into the shop and put the tires on, I'll do that. We'll get the car to you. And I told him, I was like, I gotta have the car back at least by Wednesday for work. So I can handle taking a couple days off of work. But of course, it's Black Friday week, so it's like I can't not be at my retail job. So I told him, I was like, as soon as you can get the car back to me, it'd be appreciated. And by 3:30 Tuesday afternoon, they got the car back to me. Tires all ready to go. They did have to do an alignment on the front end, which I'm not surprised by. Yeah, he said that there was uneven wear on the tire, but he says the problem that why they missed it the last time I was in was the guy that measured my tires just did one measurement in the middle. He's like, our rule is 3 measurements going from the middle to the outside of the tire. So that's why they caught it the first time, but didn't catch it the second time. And so he's like, I did training with the guys. I'm going to make sure that this never happens again. And I appreciate you talking to me about it. So it was cool. So, and we got some pretty decent tires for the winter. So I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, so it all turned out all right.
I'm glad that your tire didn't explode on the highway.
Man, that goes from a little damage to the wheel itself to flipping the car and ending up on the side of the road and
potentially some nasty, awful things.
Yeah. So yes, I'm very happy that and it was a God thing too. I'll call it out. It was God showed me the problem before it was an issue, and orchestrated everything to make sure that we could get it fixed, and everything worked out okay. So I was pretty thankful for that. But anyway, good stuff. So, and I know you wanted to discuss my latest purchase. I got a loop deck.
Loop deck.
So I was going to wait until after Christmas because I'm buying this out of Christmas money. But for the Black Friday sales, they had it marked down $40 from its regular price. I'm like, yeah, I got to pull the trigger on that. So I ordered it, got it in. I've been messing around with it a little bit here and there ever since. So I've had it for about a week, maybe a week and a half. And I've been it's so customizable. I will tell you, there's a couple of things that irritate me about it a little bit because I'm still banging my head against how to make it work with Apple Music. I mean, the media controls and everything are there, but I want to be able to put like keys on this or buttons on this for playlists. Shuffle this playlist. Just tap that and then it can shuffle that playlist. And I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I might have to do that through a shortcut. So I'm going to dig into it a little bit more. I'm going to have to learn Shortcut or the Shortcuts app.
Welcome, Mitch, to the cult. Yeah. May I get you some Kool-Aid?
So I'm going to have to learn that because I still am struggling a little bit with how to incorporate the shortcuts into the loop deck. Because I did try it with a couple of them and they weren't working very well. So I'm going to have to do some more research and work on it a little bit more. But so far, I'm really happy. The media controls, like having the knobs on the device, are pretty sweet. I was editing the church service this last week, and one thing that's really nice in Audition, when you're looking at the waveform for the audio, you can click on there, and then if you don't get it quite right, you have to mouse over it again and click on the right spot and all that. With the loop deck, I can actually just grab one of the knobs and move and jog the playhead using one of the knobs. So it's really nice to have that fine control, and I'm sure it works just the same in Final Cut and stuff like that too. But I thought that was really neat.
Yeah. There's, as much as, you and I and any nerd loves software advancements and all, there's just something really nice about physical knobs and switches and faders that adjust, that it's just like so satisfying.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like being able to, like you said, just spin that dial and move the playhead, or like in like a photo editing app, being able to dial in the different setting, like by actually manipulating physical objects to work, is just, man, it's so much more satisfying than like dragging your mouse. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, there's something about, and I don't know what, there's probably like a term for it, or some sort of, what, I don't know what it is, but just that the ability to physically manipulate a digital thing is very satisfying. So I'm with you on that for sure.
And these knobs have that nice little click to them as you turn them. So it's very satisfying to.
Is it an audible click or just a like a tactile?
A tactile click. Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't like make a noise.
No, it doesn't make noise.
Okay, good God, if it made a noise, like out the window.
No, it just
you're gone.
It feels a lot like, say, like if you have digital knobs for your radio in your car, you just have where it steps through, and it just feels very satisfying to turn it. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
But there's 2 knobs on here, and then there's 4 physical buttons on here. That the default for those is to set those up as pages of buttons. So if you've used a Stream Deck before, and you said you've used a Stream Deck before, you can set up multiple pages.
Yeah, I have a Stream Deck.
Yeah. This one allows you to set up multiple pages as well. And then you can tie those to the buttons, or you can just swipe across the screen and it'll move to the different pages. So if you've got 5 pages and there's only 4 buttons, you're going to have to do some swiping to get to your pages. But I have not figured out enough stuff to do to fill 4 pages right now. So, but you can actually set those buttons to do other things as well. So if you wanted to, if you're in Zoom and you wanted to use it as a mute button, you can use it as a mute button. So that's nice. There's got to be a way to change the colors of the buttons. There's a way to change the colors of the buttons. That I figured out. But I would like to be able to change the colors based on the status of what it is. So if you use it as a mute button, if you're muted, it should be red. If you're not muted, it should be green. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
visual cue,
so if I haven't figured out if there's a way to do that in the software yet, but that would be pretty sweet. So, but like right now, there's a dynamic mode in Loupedeck. So if you have a specific app open, you can set this up so that, like right now I have Audition open. That's the one that's in focus right now. So my Loupedeck right now shows record, pause button. It shows a button to add marker to the recording. I added a button for Zoom so that I can tap that button and it takes me out of that dynamic mode and takes me back to the main mode, because I don't have Zoom set up as one of the apps. So it'll take me back to my regular shortcuts and stuff. So it's so customizable, and that dynamic mode is really neat too. So I have a dynamic mode set up for Audition and one for Notion. So in Notion, I can literally go and just like select a block and change it into a heading 1 by just tapping a button, or turn it into bullets by just tapping a button.
Yeah, man, the rabbit holes you can go. Rabbit hole tends to have like a weird kind of like I should say like the depth and the ability to like customize to your personal it's so cool that like you can get this one tool and you can use it in a way that's so specific to you and what you, and then I could use it in a totally different way, right? To like help with like editing photos or you know what I mean? Like the same tool can be used so personally, right? It's just I think it's really awesome. And I'm on their website now, and the different options they have for these. Like there's one that's $560. Like what?
That thing, if you're a video editor or something like that, or if you do a
Guilty.
lot of photo editing, that thing it looks really cool for that. It's got a big dial in the middle that you
yeah,
can
I'm looking at it
assign
right
different
now.
things to. How many dials does it have along the sides? Is it just the 6?
Yeah, it's got 3 on each side of
Yeah.
the main
Mhm.
screen, and then there's 8 buttons on the row, and then there's the dial, and then there's 6. I mean, this thing is like,
Yeah, it's got a lot of buttons on it.
yeah, but that dial has got like a screen in the middle that looks to just show you like what that dial is currently adjusting, and
Yep.
yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's so much money.
You can put a clock in the middle of that dial. You can do. There's a bunch of different things that you can do with that round dial. So
Yeah, so there's 4 different products that they have, and you have the Live S, right?
the Live S, yeah, the smallest one.
Which is still $190. Like these things are not cheap.
And like I said, I got it for $40 off, so it was a little bit more in line with what a Stream Deck of about the same size would be.
Yeah, man. All right, I'm gonna have to not buy one of these because I can't. I can't, Mitch. I can't.
Yeah.
Of course, I want the most expensive one, but it's $559. That's not happening.
Yeah.
But it sure looks fun.
I don't mean to tempt you.
No, it's you're not tempting me. It's it's I want nice things.
It is nice.
And I have to spend pretty much most of today and tomorrow finishing a wedding video edit. So I'm already in that mode.
Yeah.
So I don't need something like that to edit my wedding video. I can do it just fine with my trackpad.
Yeah, so I don't know if the Stream Deck allows you to do this, but it is something that you can do with the Loop Deck, is that as you design your profiles, so you have one main profile that is your default profile, and then, like I was saying before, you have your, like I have my Audition profile, so for Adobe Audition. I have a profile set up for Notion. There's a bunch of preloaded or preset ones. Audition was a presetted one, but I've gone through and customized it. So a lot of stuff that other people would use in Audition, I don't really use. So I deleted some pages. I set up some pages a little differently. But each of those profiles can be exported, and you can import it onto another computer. So that's how I've been doing the transfer across from one computer to another computer. So,
yeah, because they don't sync via the cloud, right? It's
well
all done, and so
I tried doing it with it's saved. All the information for the Loop Deck is saved into a Loop Deck folder that is in your library on the Mac. So I set up a Hazel automation to copy that into Dropbox, and then another automation to copy it back, like copy the most recent changes back to the Loop Deck folder. And in that process, like that was working okay for syncing them, but I started having some conflicts, so I turned those off. But that was one way that I looked at to try and sync the two, because I needed to have a folder in Dropbox, but I couldn't move the folder that was in the library. So just doing that worked a little bit. But now what I'm doing is, if I do a lot of customizing of one particular profile, I'll export that profile and then import it on the other computer. So that way it's a little bit more laborsome, but it works.
yeah.
I mean, I'm spending, half hour at a time doing customization on these. So for me to transfer a exported file from one computer to the next and then import it in there is not that big a deal. So
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, so far I'm really liking it. It's very useful. When we were starting the recording this morning, I just literally reached over and tapped the record button and then hit the record button on my my backup recording on my board, and we were recording, where normally I've got to go in, I got to click on Audition, bring that up, click on the record button, and then it's not like it doesn't want to start to record right away, so I got to click on it again, and so it works a little weird that way. I literally just reached over and record, and we were off and running. So
Nice.
yeah, so very happy with it so far. I do have in my main default profile, I have a page set up all for Zoom and for Ecamm Live for switching things. So if I go into that page, which I have set up, I can literally go through and just change the image on the screen. So it
what
you like that
one?
I refer to that as cool, Mitch.
Now, for the listeners at home, let me paint you a picture. This looks like, so he is fully bald.
Yep.
With a slightly graying, very tight beard on his very masculine square jawline, with a popped collar on an incredible leather black jacket set against what is like, I don't know, like a neon Tokyo-esque sort of background.
I generated this in Midjourney, and it was in the style of cyberpunk.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good,
So,
and he looks like he probably just got done doing a paid murder.
Yeah. He looks tough though.
Either that or this is like worship pastor's night out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. He's definitely the guitar player in the group.
Yeah, this should totally be the show art, by the way. Even though
I'm
I just want people to be able to see it, or at least link to it in the show notes so people can see it.
Sounds good. So much more handsome than I am, for sure.
Mitch has a skill with Midjourney. I will say that.
You know,
all of the show art is 100% Mitch.
I'm going to tell you, the prompts that I put are the most simplistic prompts. If you sit in Midjourney for a while and you look at some of the guys that are really good at this, I mean, they're putting in like what Canon, Rebel, whatever camera they want and what lens they're using and what the f-stop settings are. And they're just, they put like, there's a paragraph of stuff that they're putting in for their prompts. I literally just put in bald guy with glasses and a beard, in the style of cyberpunk, and that's what you get back. So
sometimes less is more. Mitch.
Yep. So anyway, moving right along, we should probably get to our main topic for the show today. Otherwise, we're going to be churning on this stuff forever. So. All right. So I thought that it was an apropos time, since there's a lot of podcasts that are kind of doing this right now. And I thought, we could do our own flavor of this. And that is reminiscing on 2023. What kind of products did we enjoy from this last year? Whether they were released this year or not, what kind of things, what kind of apps are we using yet? Because probably the last time we've talked about our apps was probably roughly about a year ago. So, some things are the same, some things are different. So we could talk a little bit about how some of that stuff's changed over the last year and kind of reflect on 2023. So we have, one thing that I've done a lot of this year is Notion. So we're experimenting right now with switching our show notes over into Notion. But my first subject here was what's favorite tech device for this year. So not necessarily Apple device, which we're both big Apple fans, but what's a tech device that we're excited about that we really enjoyed using over this last year?
So. For me, it is my guitar pedals. So part of something that changed for me was when I moved, and therefore, had to find a new church. At my old church where I was before, I was playing bass 3 out of 4 Sundays a month, because we had a lot of guitar players and not so many bass players. So I, filled that need because it was something the church needed and something that I could do. And actually playing bass is quite fun, as Mitch knows. It's a good time.
That it is.
Sorry. And so because of that, I was not playing guitar as much. Um, and so at my new church, the opposite is the case. We have like 5 people that play bass and only like one other dude that plays electric guitar, which is very unusual because this church is bigger, has more people, right? And so usually, everyone plays guitar. But anyways, so the need was we need someone to play electric. So I have, in the 5 months that I've been up here, been playing a lot more electric, and I have fallen in love with playing electric guitar, and specifically my pedal board that I have. My delay pedal, my reverb pedal, my overdrive, just really dialing in some custom settings that work really well in a worship setting, right? So I have a couple custom reverbs that I use, that I have dialed in specifically for the types of music that we play at church that fit, the different types of, do I need to be really ambient? Do I need to be really crisp? Do I need just a little bit of room? Do I need, a long tail delay or a short tail? Do I need any? And then trying to find some overdrives that are not, like super crunchy, but just enough to get the guitar to just kind of push the limits and not be obnoxious or whatever. But certainly like help push the song along in the cases where that's the need. And we don't play a lot of like rock and roll style worship stuff. It's very much more calm, and we sing hymns and that sort of stuff. So I don't really need overdrive on probably 80% of the songs that we do. But it's nice to have the appropriate settings so that when it's needed, I can have it, right? And so it's just, for me, it's just been fun to nerd out on that sort of stuff and really figure out how can I, with what I have, allow my guitar to not be distracting, but to serve the song in the best way possible, so that the people singing and worshiping God don't even really notice what I'm doing. They can fully focus on what they're singing, right? And that's the whole purpose of serving in the worship band is not to be the cool guy on stage who plays or sings, right? It's about serving the congregation. And we talk about this idea of non-distracting excellence.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be so excellent at what we do that the people, all they can do is focus on what they're singing. Like there's distracting non-excellence, which is like, wow, they're not even on the same rhythm. It's bad. They're singing off key. Then there's like distracting excellence, which is like guitar solos or singers going and like hitting like all the runs, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's that sweet spot in the middle of like, we want to be so good that we're not distracting folks because we're bad, and we're not distracting them because we're showing off. We are hitting our changes. We're on the same. We're all in the same key. We're on the same rhythm. We're tight enough that the whole focus is not us, but what we're singing, why we're singing it, and who we're singing it to. And so part of me playing with my guitar pedals and trying to lock in that stuff is so that I can help fit into the band where I need to fit in, push when I need to push, back off when I need to back off, and just really serve the whole purpose of why we're at church, right? And that's just, it's been fun. And even me just thinking about all this and talking about it right now, like hopefully you can hear it in my voice. Like I'm like, I get to play tomorrow at church and I'm pumped for it. Yeah. And one of the other cool things that is like this church, we're playing 5 songs tomorrow, and 4 of them I've never even heard before.
Yeah.
So like I'm discovering new music and new lyrics and new vocabulary for how to express the truths that I believe in from Scripture, and it's just been a really awesome time. And the worship director at the church he's an incredible songwriter and an incredible musician, but he's like, without exaggeration, one of the most humble people I've ever met in my life. He is crazy talented. He writes incredible songs. And he just wants to serve other people. And a lot of times you don't get that with talented musicians because they're artists and they're out there, right? And they, and he's just a humble guy. And it makes playing in the band, like he sets the tone, right, for what we're doing. And it's a blessing, and hopefully you can hear my excitement, in my voice, but it's just like, I gotta get up at 5:50 tomorrow, and I don't even care. I'm not because I'm just that excited to like go do this, and I'm not a morning person. I woke up at 9:30 today to record at 10. Like that's I sleep in as late as possible.
Yeah.
Most days. So, anyways, that's my So it's more than just my favorite tech device because it's about more than just the tech, but the pedals allow me to serve other people in a way that I think is tasteful and helpful and serves the purpose without being obnoxious and getting in the way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, being distracting.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add? Because I actually have 3 things on my list. I don't know how well Notion updates in real time, but
no, I see it.
Okay.
It actually, I saw you typing. It's
was it?
Like,
okay.
Yeah, Notion is. I haven't used it in a while, and it was really good the last time I used it. Right, so it just keeps on getting better.
So you could see me typing. So very good.
Yeah.
All right.
We might have to do a Notion deep dive, maybe to start the year or something.
We could maybe do something like that.
But I do want to hear your stuff.
So you didn't have anything else you wanted to add?
I talked enough, I think.
Okay. All right. So there's a few devices, and arguably the first one I could have left off the list, but it is something that I literally like take everywhere with me. It is the one device that if I need to read, or I need to do Bible study, or if I need to do just need something to entertain me for a few minutes or anything like that, it is the perfect device, and it is my go-to outside of my phone for just everything, and that's my iPad mini. I love this thing. Literally, it's sitting right on the desk next to me right here, and it is such a convenient tool. Like, so there was one morning when normally when I go to Bible study at the church, I will take my iPad mini with me, and I'll take my my MacBook Air. And the MacBook Air so that I can have Logos up and do my Bible study there, and then the iPad Mini so that I have the book that we're studying out of is in the Kindle app. So we'll be reading through the book, and then we'll go to the Bible and look back. But I don't need anything more than this iPad Mini to do all of that, because the Logos app is so robust. It doesn't have every single feature, but it has a lot of them. To be able to do word studies and stuff like that. So it works really well for that. The Kindle app on the device works really well for being able to do everything I need. And then, with the Apple Pencil, it makes it really easy to go through and do all the highlighting and everything like that in the book and in Logos for what I want to do. So it's such a like important device in my toolbox here that I couldn't live without it. It's amazing. So, and eventually, I know this one will have to be replaced eventually, but until then, this is going to be the best device. One of my favorite devices that I have in my arsenal right now. So, my AirPods Pro 2 are very high on that list as well. I use those at least once a day, if not multiple times throughout the day. They are in the little fifth pocket on my jeans all the time. Matter of fact, I bet you if I dig in there right now, they're not there. Oh, I have them on the charger. That's where they are. But they're right on my charger over here on my desk. But I'll throw those in while I'm making coffee in the morning, listen to a podcast, listen to some music. They sound great for earbuds. I don't use the noise cancellation quite as much as I used to, but the adaptive audio has been revolutionary for being able to just, and I've mentioned this on the show before, when I make coffee in the morning, I've learned as I've gotten older, I really don't like loud noises, especially early in the morning. So to grind my beans in the morning, it was just like, everything stops when the beans are being ground because it's noisy. And so now I put the AirPods Pro 2 in with adaptive audio on, and I start the grinder, and within 2 seconds or so, it's taken the sound of the grinder and turned it down like 60 or 70%. And now I'm listening to my podcast. Everything didn't stop because of the loud noise. You know, it's really, really nice. I've gone out and taken walks. When I was talking about my car fix earlier, I couldn't get a ride back to the service center to pick up the car, so I walked. It was about 2.5 miles, and I had those in the whole time, and it was great. So, you know, easily one of the most used devices that I have in my arsenal because I'm using it daily. The other thing that I use daily that might be a little bit of a curveball in all of this is my Ember mug. I love this mug. I use this all the time.
Mainstay on the show.
Oh yeah,
it's here every episode.
You bet. Take a sip of my coffee right there. But I love that no matter what the temperature is in my coffee, I can put it in the Ember mug, and within, you know, depending on what the temperature is, within minutes, it's at my perfect temperature. I usually like my stuff at 137 degrees, and it is the perfect temperature for drinking a good cup of coffee, and I really enjoy it. So I wouldn't trade this in for the world. It's a great mug. So yeah. I mean, it connects to my phone, which is kind of nice because you can set your temperature there and stuff like that, but it's certainly not super necessary. And I have been thinking about the Ember travel mug because, man, I would love to be able to take this on the go with me, but it's $199. So
holy
it's pricey.
Moses.
Yeah. It's expensive.
That is pricey.
Well, I won't tell you how much I paid for this then. I did get some discounts on it, and I did have some like rewards money from my Amazon Prime membership that or my Amazon Prime card that I used towards it, but it retails for like $149. So yeah.
All right then.
And this copper one, I love copper to begin with, and this copper color is just it's held up really well. It's, you know, it actually,
it's not actually copper though, right? It's just copper colored.
It's metal. It might just be copper colored, like, but it's literally.
Do your hands smell like pennies after you use it?
No.
Okay,
that's probably just copper colored. But one thing I really do like about the finish on this is that it doesn't stain. There's like a lot of times with mugs, you get that kind of it stains after a while from the coffee. This doesn't stain at all. It literally, like, I wash it out and it looks like the day I got it. So I love it. It's good. I actually bought an extra because it comes with a little saucer. I can't get this here. I'll unplug it so you can see it. But it comes with this saucer that you notice it's got a couple electrodes on it. That sits on the saucer and actually charges on the saucer. The battery itself in the device lasts about an hour and a half, depending on how much it's having to heat it. But I have 2 of these saucers. I bought an extra one because I wanted one for my studio down here, and so pretty much I'm always putting it back on the saucer to keep it charged, so that way the battery lasts. So yeah,
nice.
So those are my favorite tech devices that I've used in the last year. I haven't bought all of them in the last year, but I've definitely, you know, there are devices that I have used heavily over the last year. So speaking of purchases, things we purchased this last year, the next thing that I have on here is our favorite purchases of the year. So would you like me to start this, or would you like to start?
Yeah. We'll do the snake style.
All right.
You know,
so
even though it's not a draft.
Yeah. So I would have to say, and I kind of saved this, and I didn't mention this during my favorite tech items, just because it is something that I purchased this last year, and I love it, and that's my MacBook Air, my M2 MacBook Air. This computer is awesome. I'm really, really enjoying it. I can't think of any like other purchases in the last year that tech or non-tech related that I've enjoyed more than having this at my disposal. It's super powerful, does everything I need it to do. It's probably as powerful, if not more powerful, than the 27-inch iMac that I'm sitting in front of. The big difference is one is Apple Silicon and the other one's not. So, my times for doing different stuff in Isotope is kind of how I look at it. What's taking longer to do processing, and they're about the same. So I think the if I did benchmarks on these, they probably come out similar. But I like my MacBook Air. So I got it in the midnight color, and I do enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, it's I haven't used one.
Mm-hmm.
I have an M1 MacBook Air, and this thing still crushes anything I throw.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, it's just, and the M2 is by every benchmark considerably better, right? And like when I spend a couple hours today editing wedding video, 4K, it won't get hot. It will just, whatever I give it, it's like, yeah, I got you. It's fine. So I can only imagine how much more the M2 can handle without even really breaking a sweat.
And I think that when you're looking at the M1, M2, I don't think that there's I don't think there's that much difference between the two. The biggest difference in these two devices is the design. So I've got the pretty little feet on the bottom. I've got the color. I think the ports are different. I've got we've got all the same ports, but I got the MagSafe on mine. So mine's just two USB-C and then the headphone. But the chip is better. It's better, but
It is better.
Does it benchmark out like that much better? I didn't think it did. It benchmark out a little better, but I don't know.
I mean, we're not talking like Pro and Max here, but yeah, I mean, the M2 is better than the M1. If it wasn't, they wouldn't have put it out. It is better.
Yeah,
my whole point in saying that is like the M1 still crushes. Like it's still really good. And that just is like, okay, the M2 it's gonna crush for for a long time, right? Whatever you put at it. So, and the fact that like this is the entry level machine in the MacBook line is like, it still blows my mind.
Yeah, it blows my mind that the MacBook Pro is faster and does more than this. I understand. I got the base config on this, so I've got 8 gigs of memory on this device. So it's like not even, and I think yours is probably similar, right? So
I'm pulling it up right now. No, I have the 16 gigs.
Oh, okay. So you upgraded a little.
Yeah, I upgraded because I do a lot of video.
Yeah,
that I wanted the extra horsepower essentially.
The only thing I'd go back and do differently is I treated this Mac as the like my satellite device. A little bit more like if I had just a really big iPad that worked like a laptop. So I didn't get a lot of storage on it. So I've got 256 gigs of storage on this. So everything that I'm not currently working on lives in the cloud. So it's all in Dropbox. I have
How big's your storage?
256. Yeah. So there's hardly any storage on here.
How do you do that?
Well, I'm selective about the apps that I use on here. And I, like I said, everything that I'm not currently working on is up in the cloud. So,
wow.
Yeah, I have one folder in Dropbox that I allow to download to this device, and everything else lives in the cloud. So it's literally the folder is called Active Projects, and our
I want to be like you and I grew up, Mitch.
Our podcast from today is recording into that Active Projects folder. Or I'll save it into the Active Projects folder, and then I can work on it later on my MacBook Air if I want to, or it's also I have everything on my my iMac. So I've got I think 2 gigs or 2 terabytes of storage on my iMac. So, but all of my Dropbox stuff is actually stored locally on my Synology as well. So I have backups of backups. So
Yeah, I'm looking at my storage right now, and I have I have used 840 gigs of my 994 available gigs. So I need to go through and do a little cleanup. Yeah, because I got the full terabyte drive on mine, and I'm using a lot of it apparently. 104 gigs to applications. What?
yeah, so currently my storage, the available storage on the device is 245.11 gigs. I have currently free 47.35 gigabytes. So, but like I said, like I don't save anything on this device that I'm not currently working on or needing.
Yeah.
I
have 400 gigs of iCloud drive.
But understand, I don't do video. I don't do a lot of video, and if I do video, I do it on my iMac.
Space.
Yeah,
it takes up so much space. And I usually keep it on an external hard drive for that very reason.
I'm pretty sure that if I were to do one Final Cut Pro project on my iMac or on my MacBook Air, I would be out of storage.
Yeah.
So, but in the future, and we can talk about this on another show sometime if we really want to, but in the future, like what I envision is getting myself a MacBook Pro that's spec'd up and moving to a studio display in here, and then just having the one device, just the MacBook Pro that does everything. So I don't have to be switching back and forth between two computers. And not that I find that arduous, but I just think it would be streamline my process and stuff. So there's some caveats that I'm going to have to deal with that way, as far as IO and stuff like that. But I'll figure it out.
Man, I know what I'm doing. Well, I got to edit not stupid video, that lovely video that someone paid me to make for them. But I need to clean up my storage now. I'm like seeing like all the dust bunnies and like the garbage and just the digital cruft I need to get rid of. All right, you have convicted me, Mitch, that I need to be better with my
storage.
Yeah, my digital well-being.
All right. Well, what is your favorite purchase of the year?
I think it's the Nintendo Switch. And like it serves a very specific purpose.
Yeah.
It literally exists for me and my daughter to play Mario Kart together. Like I play FIFA on it like once or twice a month maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, its sole purpose is for me and my kid to have a good time together. Right. And it's a special thing, right? She doesn't get to do it all the time, but like it's you did something really good at school. We can play Mario Kart, or, you cleaned your room, that sort of stuff. But it's a time for me and her to just hang out and have fun and goof around and just enjoy some us time. And Mario Kart's a blast, and she, it makes her giggle, or I got a red shell, like, it's just funny, like, or like when she red shells me, she just giggles, like, it's just fun.
Yeah.
And it has great settings that allow kids her age to not drive off the track all the time, and so it's like you can tell they put a lot of thought into. You can play it with totally no help on 200cc, and it's actually hard.
Yeah.
Or you can, play it with multiple different levels of computer control on your car, to help the little kids still have fun and, not get frustrated.
Yeah.
Like it's a very family friendly, like in that regard, that like there's a ton of variation between the amount of skill you need to have to play it and enjoy it. So someone like me, who's literally been playing Mario Kart most of my entire life, and my kid who just turned 7, we can play together on totally different settings and have a blast. And it's just that they just released the last 2 cups, as it were, like the set of 4, the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So we just got to play 8 new tracks this last week or 2, and it's just like it's just a fun time, and it's something that me and her get to do. That's special and fun, and it serves its purpose, and then it just goes away when we don't need it, right? It just kind of just sits there, and I love the modularity of it, right? You can play it on the big TV with the controller. You can set it on the table and still play. You can play it handheld. So like it's super portable. It's modular. And one of the downsides is there aren't a lot of other games like Mario Kart that are great for that sort of deal. But if that's the role that it serves is just game time, and like that's great, right? And then it's turn it off, time to read, go to bed, that sort of stuff. But it's just been really fun. I got it this summer. I got it this fall. I think it was like September when I got it. But yeah, it's just been something fun, something special that I like to do with my kid. And she gets so excited when she finishes first, or like I'll be like I'll be finishing up work right after school, and I let her play a run, and she it gives me running commentary. Oh, I'm in 5th. Oh, Daddy, I just got up to 3rd. Oh, I just she's like running commentary for me while I'm wearing. It's the cutest thing ever.
Yeah.
Or, oh man, I got my. It's just hearing like her inner thoughts out loud is just it's quite fun. So, anyways, that's mine.
So we'll be talking about the Switch again and what's delighting me today. So we'll save that for later. Right. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. All right. So we need to decide, because we're approaching an hour into the show. Do we want to tackle this next subject, or do we want to punt it till the next episode?
I think if we wait till the next episode, it'll be better, because I can actually have
yeah, we can think about it too.
My list. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It'll be more, I think it'll be better because we'll both have had time to all right, what do we actually want to talk about? What do we want to say about it? And I think it'll be more, and 2 weeks from now will be closer to the end of the year anyways too. So
right,
a good year-end wrap up.
Yeah. So
because I have a list of this on my website that I need to go through and update. So this will serve multiple purposes.
All right. So we'll hang it up there. We'll talk about what's delighting us here in a minute. Just so the audience knows what we were going to talk about. In the show notes, I have it titled as "What apps are we using?" Actually, I think I talked about it at the beginning of the show, or as we introduced the segment. So we're going to punt that to the next episode, and that way I think I can go through and think a little bit more about some of the apps that I'm using, and we can spend a little bit more time preparing for that one. So I don't anticipate we're going to do any kind of state of the apps type episode. We're not going to do 3.5 hours like Cortex does, but we'll spend some time talking about some of our favorite apps, and what are we still using, what are we not using, maybe what we're not using, I don't know. But really the focus is going to be on what are some of the new apps that we're using this year. And I don't know, there's a lot of them, but we'll definitely take the time to talk about that. So cool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into what's delighting us today. So Cam, what's delighting you today?
I'm going to be basic again and just say college football, man. No, seriously, dude. It's so championship weekend, right? Last night was the Pac-12 championship. Number 3 Washington undefeated versus 1 loss, number 5 Oregon. The Ducks are my second favorite team after Michigan, and for the second time this year, they lost by 3 points to Washington in a very close. It's just this is the first year where legitimately 8 teams have a shot at the 4-team playoff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And Oregon had their shot last night, and they didn't get it done, so Washington's in. Michigan plays Iowa. Georgia plays Alabama. Florida State plays Louisville. Texas plays there's just there's so many. I read an article this week that there's like 16 possible outcomes of what the final four playoff teams could look like based on what chaos or not ensues in these conference championship games. And it's also the last year of the 14 playoff. We go to 12 teams next year, right? So like the fact that this is the first time this many teams have been viable for the 14 playoff, and it's the last year, and it's the last year the Pac-12 is going to, like, there's just so much like potential for anarchy in just how this shakes out. Or all the favorites could win, and it's just going to be, they really aren't the four best teams, right? But like, again, one of the things that I love about college football is the uncertainty, right, of what's going to happen, but also like you only get so many games and then it's over, you know? And Michigan are heavy favorites against Iowa, but that doesn't mean anything. Do I expect Michigan to win? Yeah. Is it possible that they lose? Maybe, but like you just don't know until the game is played, right? And same deal like with the NFL, like the Packers-Lions game on Thanksgiving, right? Lions were the favorites going into it, and the Packers just played far better and won the game, right? Any given Sunday and all that sort of stuff. They deserved that win. They earned it, despite the fact that the Lions were favored going into it and had the much better record, had already beaten them in Lambeau, yada, 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 right?
They were favored heavily.
Yeah, and it didn't matter because the Packers came in and did their job and earned that win, right? But the same goes for college. Like Alabama's number 8, Georgia's number 1. Alabama could easily win that game. You know what I mean? Because they're like, I don't know. It's exciting to think, because previously, earlier in this whole playoff football era, it was like a done deal. Alabama's in, Ohio State's in, you know, like it was just Clemson's in. Like Georgia's in, Alabama, Georgia played the SEC championship game. They're going to play again. It was just boring. We just knew exactly what was going to happen. And this year, it's like, who knows? Florida State might be starting their third string quarterback in the ACC championship game. Like, and they're ranked number 4 and they're undefeated. Their season could be over if they lose this game, they're out, right? So there's just so much on the line and so many potential outcomes. And it's just like, I don't know. It's exciting. It's like these conference championship games are like the first round of the playoffs, essentially. Because if you lose, you're out. Because there's a bunch of other teams waiting in the wings to take your spot. And that has not been the case. So it's just exciting, you know? And I like when games matter. And everything is on the line. And that's the way it was with Michigan, Ohio State last Saturday. Everything was on the line. Number 2 versus number 3, undefeated, spot in the Big Ten championship, spot in the playoff, all on the line. And they go out and it's like, yeah, it's just fun, man. That game was so stressful, Mitch. My stomach was in knots the entire time. And I was convinced that Michigan was going to lose it. They were up 6 and they gave Ohio State the ball back with like a minute and change. And they 2 huge plays. And I was like, we're going to lose by 1. We're going to lose by 1 stinking point. And then we intercepted the ball to seal the game, and it was glorious. But my goodness, was it stressful. So anyways, that's what's delighting me. It's just lots of really, really good football.
I was laughing at you because I was putting together, and I was going to mention this on the show. I put together a database of all of our shows, and I have published it, so it is available at innerdialogue.show. It is not complete yet. It is a work in progress. But I was noticing how many of your delighting me sections had to do with sports.
Dude, it's, I'm a simple man.
I think it's closely seconded by what season it is. So
yeah, it's true. Because like summertime, I don't watch baseball. I have much less sports to be excited about. But fall is prime time. So you got football, you got basketball, you got hockey, soccer, you got it, everything.
So what we've learned over the years is Cam is really into college football and college basketball, and he really loves weather.
You like weather too. Don't put that on me.
I do. No, you're right.
You're the reason I have carrot weather on my phone.
So, all right. Well, what's delighting me this week? I had the choice between a couple of things, and we already talked about the loop deck, which I'm still deciding if it's really delighting me. But the one thing that is really delighting me is Super Mario Brothers Wonder. It's a new Super Mario Brothers game. It is, again, new Super Mario Brothers game, but it is in the vein of the old side-scrolling 2D games that
really
that they were doing and that they've done in the past. So, it's a very much a typical Super Mario Brothers game. It looks a lot nicer. It does have a little bit of depth in the graphics. So it gives a little bit more, but there's so many new cool things that you can do in this game. And there's a lot of variation in the gameplay that I wasn't expecting either. I mean, literally, they could have just redone the first Super Mario Brothers game in this style, and I would have been super excited about it. But they went way above and beyond that. On top of that, you can actually play it with other people. So you can play. I don't know exactly how the co-op works because I haven't had an opportunity to do it. But you can play online against your friends. You can just go online and play. In a mode that I've actually have done where everybody else that's playing that map right now or that level right now, you can see them playing. They're ghosted on the screen.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And
this looks awesome. I'm on the website now. This looks super awesome.
And the added functionality that gives you is that if you die, you don't die right away. You become a ghost, and you have 5 seconds to come in contact with one of the other players that's currently playing, and it regenerates you, and you come back to life. So,
that's cool.
You can also leave standees around in the map too. So there's these little they look like cardboard standees that you put up. And you can actually use those to regenerate as well. So if somebody else has put a standee in, you're flying around as a ghost trying to find something to regenerate you, you can use those standees to do that as well. So it's a lot of fun. It gives a little bit of a community feel to playing, but at the same time, they're not messing with your gameplay. So the only thing they're doing is positive. Because they're giving you the option to be able to come back to life after you've died. So
that's cool. Yeah, this looks really fun.
It is really fun.
I never would have thought that they would have redo the 2D scroller, but I mean, all of those things are just really awesome ways to reinvent that sort of game. That's super cool.
Yeah,
I had no idea this was even out.
They have a lot of the old school power ups. So you've got the mushroom, you got the fire flower. You have, I don't know if the drill one was
Mario, the raccoon.
I haven't seen that one. I don't know if they've got that one in there. But they have
one of my go-to Mario Kart skins. Tanuki!
Yeah. They have a drill hat. I don't know if that's from one of the other games or not, but it allows you to drill into the ground or drill into the ceiling, and you can move across the ceiling with little to no profile. So it's kind of a neat thing. And they also have an elephant upgrade that you can do where you can become an elephant and you use your tusks or your trunk to throw the enemies away from you. So that's kind of fun. And you can suck up a bunch of water if you're near some water and spray the water all over, and it leaves flowers and different things stuff like that when you do that. So it's kind of neat. I don't know what the functionality of it really is, but it's kind of fun. And one of the other ones is a bubble, being able to produce bubbles. And that's another way, the bubble will float and encapsulate the enemy, and then the enemy dies inside the bubble when the bubble pops. So that's another kind of fun one to do too. So some unique things that they added to this game that I haven't seen in other games. But then, of course, they've got all your old favorites as well. So, and some cool different gameplay options as well. So, very cool.
Nice.
So that comes heavily recommended. I'm not sure how it would work with playing with your daughter if you wanted to play, because I haven't played the 2-player version, but it could be a trip.
Well, I'm on the on the webpage for it, it says great for beginners. Yoshi's and Nabbit don't take damage, so they're perfect for players who are just starting out.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
there might be a version for her that would allow her to, because I tried to get her to play like the original Super Mario Brothers,
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, it's still hard.
Yeah,
Like 30, like
I
it's
forgot
so
how
difficult.
hard that game was.
She got so frustrated. She
Yeah.
was like, I hate this game. I don't want to play it anymore. So
yeah,
I'll have to look into this.
so very cool.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to add before we wrap up the show today?
No, I think we've had a good episode as per usual.
Yeah, it was fun.
We have a good time here.
We do. Lots of laughing. If that annoys anybody, I'm sorry. But anyway, you can check us out at innerdialogue.show if you'd like to know more about the show. If you'd like to check out that database that I created in Notion, or there's a feedback button there as well, so you can send us some feedback and let us know what you think of the show. It'd be good. Also, if you have any questions or comments that you'd like us to talk about in a future episode, we can do that as well. So hit up that feedback button. You can find out more about me at mitchcraig.online. And Cam, where can people find you?
CamBrennan.com.
CamBrennan.com. Now, one of the things that the Loop Deck allows me to do is it allows me to put sound effects in. And I was going to do this before the show to see if you could hear it or not, because I'm not sure if you can, but I'm going to fire it. The listener's going to be able to hear it, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to. Nope, nothing. Okay. I hit the air horn. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, it comes through on the same channel that you're on, so I have to look and see if there's some way to change that. But anyway, so very good. That way you don't hear yourself when we're recording, so you don't hear yourself more than once. It's called mix minus to the to those that know how
wonderful
things go.
thing.
So
Wonderful thing.
all right, man, it's been fun.
Indeed.
We'll see you back here next time.
Farewell.